French President Emmanuel Macron said it's time to bring his country's ties with China into the 21st century. The two leaders signed several trade deals in Beijing. It appears that Macron wants a piece of the pie from the world's largest population, especially in food, nuclear power, and aerospace. The two countries are also positioning themselves as global environmental leaders. Rob McBride has more.
China and France are hailing this visit as a new era for strategic partners. Xi Jinping and Emmanuel Macron signing multi-billion-dollar trade deals from aerospace to nuclear energy projects, and reaching what they say is common consensus on a range of issues from climate change to international security.
We have made an agreement to improve global issues. We are faced with climate change and terrorism. China will be working together with France so we can have a win-win situation and develop a new strategy that helps everyone in the world. We have both agreed to have open and deep communications.
Macron says his visit is a recognition of China's role on the world stage and Xi's preeminent position as Chinese leader. This is Macron's first state visit to China as president, and he wants the trip to become an annual event, to highlight the deepening relationship between China and Europe, growing stronger as their respective relations with the United States become more unpredictable and strained.
And I think it is time for European leaders, including the French President Macron, to really balance off their relations against the United States with their relations with China.
Macron began his visit in the ancient city of Xi'an, one of the starting points of the ancient Silk Road. His full support for what President Xi calls his Belt and Road initiative of new road and rail links, seen as the modern-day equivalent of connecting East with West, is popular here. Macron will also take away from Beijing a recommitment to the Paris Climate Agreement, seen as crucial after the United States walked away from it. In doing so, France and China are positioning themselves as global environmental leaders, setting an example for the world to follow.
2017 was the costliest year on record for natural disasters in the United States, according to scientists. 16 disasters caused an estimated $306 billion in damage. Steve Baragnier reports.
Hurricane Harvey dumped up to 1.5 meters of rain on Houston and other parts of Texas last August, leaving $125 billion worth of destruction. Only Hurricane Katrina was more costly. Hurricanes Irma and Maria hit Florida and Puerto Rico, adding another $140 billion, making it the most expensive hurricane season on record. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration released the figures at a meeting in Texas. Adam Smith is a NOAA economist.
This was also the most expensive wildfire season on record with $18 billion, tripling the previous record established in 1991.
5 states broke temperature records last year. Nationwide, it was the third warmest year on record. The report is not intended to say what role climate change plays, but NOAA monitoring chief Deke Arndt says it's clear that heat waves are getting longer, hotter, and more frequent.
That's clearly related to an increase in heat-related disasters that we've seen. We know that over the long term, big rain is getting bigger. So the intensity of really big, unusually large rainfall events, and that is related somewhat to the increase in the flooding disasters that we've seen.
The report says flooding from Hurricane Harvey canceled out severe drought in the northern plains, making 2017 the 20th wettest year on record.
Still to come this evening, sport, the weather, and Carib update. And in sport this evening, the St. Kitts Nevis Athletic Association is reporting that their first 2018 event, a development track meet, was a success. More than 100 athletes and a record-breaking 27 technical officials all participated in the Sunday 7th January meet at the Kim Collins Athletic Stadium. The first of a scheduled 13 events this year, the development meet featured a sprint, middle distance, and relay track events, as well as field events including javelin and long jump. The SKN-AAA's newly elected Games Secretary Stuart Joseph drew attention to the turnout of athletes, technical officials and spectators, adding that it represented the largest turnout for development meet. Joseph remarked that development meets are particularly important as they give athletes and coaches insight into their training progress and development needs. Additionally, participation in these meets are prerequisite for qualifying for regional and international meets as well as the national team. While the performance of the athletes is paramount, the SKN-AAA has committed to placing greater emphasis on the training and development of its technical officials. This has been confirmed by the SKN-AAA's technical officials representative Denzel Francis. According to Francis, preparations are underway to ensure that technical officials who are presently unaccredited are being prepared for Level 1 certification. Additionally, persons with an interest in becoming technical officials are being urged to become involved with the SKN-AAA. The second meet of the season will take place this Sunday, January 14th, 2018 at the Kim Collins Athletic Stadium. And now we take a look at today's weather forecast. Over St. Kitts and Nevis tonight, we can expect periods of increased cloudiness accompanied by some brief passing showers. Some showers could be locally heavy at times. Seas are rough with swells of 1.8 to 2.8 meters or 6 to 9 feet. Warnings remain in place for small craft operators and sea bathers against hazardous sea conditions. Winds are easterly at 16 to 23 miles per hour, with higher gusts during showers as well as over open waters. The sea level pressure is 1,016.9 millibars or 30.03 inches. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6:39 a.m. And that brings us to the end of this evening's news presentation. We now have a recap of this evening's top stories. Nationally, Prime Minister Dr. The Honorable Timothy Harris is asking police to find out who created a fake social media profile in his name. Internationally, the French and Chinese governments have signed off on a major trade agreement. And in sport, ahead of Sunday's second 2018 track meet, the SKN-AAA is reporting that its first was a resounding success. I've been your presenter this evening, Ebony Brandon. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay with us. Still to come, Carib Update. In the British Empire in 1807, the coin was a penny trade token issued for use in Sierra Leone. The exhibit also includes a pictorial account of the capture of Africans, their journey to the Caribbean, and their life on the plantations as enslaved people. The museum is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 8 to 2 a.m. to 2 p.m. While admission to the museum and the special exhibit are free for students and their chaperones, the museum has asked that persons book their visits in advance. In other news, Sea Star Holdings Incorporated, the parent company of Puerto Rico-based air carrier Seabourn Airlines, has signed an agreement to be acquired by Silver Star Airlines. Silver Airlines is a U.S.-based air carrier operating out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It serves Florida and the Bahamas with more than 100 daily flights on its fleet of more than 20 Saab 340B plus aircraft. Seabourn has been keen to inform its present customers that services they presently receive will not be impacted. This comes as welcome news to St. Kitts and Nevis, where Seabourn has been making regular calls since November 2013. The airline provides airlift between the Federation and Puerto Rico, with onward connections to the U.S. Virgin Islands and the U.S. mainland. On Monday, Seabourn confirmed that it will continue its business without interruption, including all existing flight operations in Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and throughout the Caribbean. Tickets held by customers will continue to be valid, and Seabourn will be taking bookings for future travel as normal. The company further revealed that it has secured a new $4.2 million U.S. credit facility to sell substantially all of its business and assets to Silver Airways. This, it says, will facilitate a combination between Seabourn and Silver Airways, creating the industry's leading regional carrier in the Caribbean, Florida, and the Bahamas. Seabourn also explained while the company has enjoyed remarkable recovery since the 2017 hurricanes, the financial stress caused during the recovery period, coupled with legacy liabilities, made it necessary to seek reorganization protection. Seabourn Airlines operates seaplanes and an airport-based fleet that services several islands throughout the Caribbean region, carrying approximately 3 million customers annually. With over 1,500 monthly departures to 12 airports, Seabourn serves San Juan's Luis Munoz Marin International Airport, St. Thomas's Cyril E. King International Airport and Seaplane Base, the St. Croix Airport and Seaplane Base, Anguilla, Antigua, Dominica, St. Martin, St. Kitts Nevis, and Tortola. And that items wraps up this evening's national developments. Stay with us. Still to come in just a moment, international developments.